Pasadena Marriott Hotel, Super Bowl 21 morning, 6 a.m. Lawrence Taylor collapsed on his bathroom floor, empty plastic bag in hand, bloodshot eyes staring at the mirror. In hours, he'd dominate John Elway at the Rose Bowl, crush Denver, hoist the championship trophy before 80,000 fans. But that morning, only Lawrence existed, not LT. And Lawrence was terrified. The cocaine in his shoulder pad's hidden compartment might not last through the game. For 3 years, this fear gripped him every game day. But today was different. Today, the whole world watched. That hidden compartment mattered more than any championship trophy. Without cocaine, without LT, who was he? Just a 28-year-old who'd already lost everything. Before I tell you the rest, hit that subscribe button. What you're about to hear isn't the sanitized NFL Films version. This is how the league's greatest defensive player carried drugs onto the field daily, how he created a hidden compartment in his shoulder pads, how he used teammates' urine to pass drug tests, and how it all collapsed. Subscribe, because after this truth, you'll never watch the NFL the same way. Lawrence Taylor's addiction didn't start overnight. The roots go deeper than his 1981 draft, deeper than North Carolina. They reach back to Williamsburg, Virginia, to a kid in a 13-child family, to an emptiness nobody saw. On the field, Lawrence was a monster, destroying offensive linemen, burying quarterbacks. Nobody asked how he felt. What mattered was performance, not emotions. By 21, entering the NFL, he'd learned the lesson: bury feelings, hide pain, BLT. Forget Lawrence. Cocaine entered his life in 1983, his third giant season. Weekend recreation at first, bars with teammates, New York nightlife. In the 80s NFL, cocaine was epidemic. But something different happened with Lawrence. That first night, looking in the mirror, he saw Lawrence, not LT. That felt good. Under cocaine, he could be weak, afraid, human. The jersey made him LT, but cocaine offered escape, or so he thought. By 1984, it wasn't escape, it was necessity. Summer 1985. Weeks before training camp, Lawrence faced reality. Game days were coming and panic set in. Without drugs that day, he couldn't take the field. Arms ached. Legs trembled. Stomach churned. Only cocaine fixed it. So he made a plan. If he'd bring cocaine to games, he needed a safe place. Not his bag, equipment managers checked everything. Not his pocket, tight uniforms showed bulges. But one place nobody checked: inside his shoulder pads. Nobody knows exactly how, but teammates remember Lawrence constantly modifying pads, requesting adjustments. One August night, someone saw him alone in the equipment room, small razor blade in hand, sewing something into his pads. Asked what he was doing, he said lightening them up. Nobody questioned LT. That night, he created the compartment he'd carry 3 years, between hard shell and foam, right over his heart. A pocket for a plastic bag. Nobody would find it. First use, 1985 season opener against Philadelphia at Giant Stadium. That morning, his heart raced as he opened his locker. The compartment was there, half a gram inside. He locked himself in a bathroom stall, took his first dose 2 hours before kickoff, then put on pads, pulled on jersey, looked in the mirror. Number 56 stared back. LT was ready. Nobody knew what lived underneath. That game, 3 sacks, 1 fumble recovery, game MVP. Real victory came in the locker room after, when Lawrence returned to the bathroom for the last dose from his hidden compartment. The system worked. No turning back. 1986 was Lawrence's career peak and darkest year. 14 of 16 games, he used cocaine in the locker room first, then took the field. The compartment became routine, part of morning ritual. Breakfast, check pads, dose from compartment, warm-up, game. His performance never dropped. Maybe the opposite. 20.5 sacks, 133 tackles, Defensive Player of the Year. Every game, that plastic bag sat on his chest under the jersey. Understand this. Cocaine wasn't making him better. It wasn't making him faster or stronger. It sped his heart, messed his reflexes, weakened decisions. He used because he couldn't play without it. His body wouldn't function without the drug. He'd shake, sweat, lose focus. Cocaine didn't give advantage, it returned him to normal. Or so he thought. Truth was, normal didn't exist, only high or low. Low was unbearable. Giants entered playoffs as #1 seed. That's when cracks appeared. Playoff games meant more media, more cameras, more attention. Even in locker rooms, reporters roamed, cameras recorded everything. Taking cocaine got harder. Lawrence found a way. Game day mornings at hotels. While preparing pads for his bag, he'd fill the compartment. Stadium arrival, pads were ready. No bathroom needed. Just put on pads, and the bag sat on his chest, next to his heartbeat, like part of his body. January 1987, conference championship against Washington at Giants Stadium, below zero, wind chill -20. Lawrence sat rubbing hands, staring at pads. This was special. Win meant Super Bowl. He'd never played one. 11-year career, all that success, no championship. This was his chance. Also his biggest fear. Super Bowl meant biggest stage, most pressure, most attention, most drug needs. That game, Lawrence was insane. Single-handedly destroyed Washington's line, hit Joe Theismann 6 times, Giants won 17-3, earned Super Bowl 21 ticket. After the game, while everyone celebrated, Lawrence sat in the corner checking his compartment. Empty, all cocaine gone. In 2 weeks in Pasadena, watched by the world, he'd need much more. Now I'll tell you that Super Bowl morning story, because what happened changed Lawrence Taylor's life forever. But understand this first. Addiction tells you one thing: tomorrow will be easier. Just one more today, quit tomorrow. Just one more game, clean up tomorrow. Lawrence listened to this lie 3 years. That Super Bowl morning, he'd finally face truth. January 25th, 1987, Pasadena Marriott 3rd floor. Lawrence woke 5:30. Sun hadn't risen, but sleepless eyes stared at ceiling. Side table held a plastic bag half full. Lawrence calculated mentally. 2, maybe 3 doses left. Game 6 hours away. Wouldn't be enough. Never enough. Super Bowl day meant breakfast, press conference, team meeting, bus ride, stadium warm-ups, then game. Every step needed cocaine. He got up. Bathroom. Mirror. 28 but tired eyes, swollen face, trembling hands. Picked up bag, took small amount, first dose around 6 a.m. in hotel bathroom. Body reacted immediately. Hands stopped shaking, chest relaxed, mind cleared, but nothing changed. Hours later, effect would fade, he'd need more. Lawrence looked at bag, at what remained, made a decision. Today that compartment would be his most important equipment. More important than helmet, cleats, maybe even jersey. 8 a.m. team breakfast, Lawrence came downstairs, ran into teammates. Phil Simms slapped his shoulder. Today's the big day, brother. Lawrence tried smiling, but something was broken inside. Simms had no idea. Nobody did. At breakfast, Parcells explained Denver's defense, how to stop Elway. Lawrence nodded, pretended listening, but mind held one thought. How many hours until game? How will I make it? 3 p.m. buses headed to Rose Bowl. Inside, everyone silent, focused, preparing. Lawrence sat by window, bag on lap. Inside that bag were pads. Inside pads, the compartment. Inside compartment, the last cocaine. As bus approached Rose Bowl, his heart accelerated. 80,000 people there. 800 million watching television. He'd take that field with cocaine on his chest, inside number 56. 4 o'clock stadium entrance, Lawrence's first action. Locker, pull out pads. Then bathroom, stall, opened compartment. Plastic bag there, pulled it out with shaking hands, looked at amount, calculated mentally. 1 dose before game, maybe 1 at halftime. That's it. After, darkness. But now, only now mattered. Took pregame dose, put bag back, wore pads, came out. Locker room teammates yelling, motivational speeches. Lawrence quiet, corner sitting, thinking. Today, either greatest victory or biggest secret exposed. Didn't know which. Game started. First quarter was nightmare. Denver's line played better than expected. Elway moved ball. Lawrence couldn't reach quarterback. 4th minute, Denver touchdown, Giants trailing. First quarter ended, score Denver 10, Giants 9. Lawrence soaked in sweat, breathing hard, worse, cocaine's effects wearing off. Hands shaking slightly, legs heavy, mind foggy. Still 20 minutes to halftime. Second quarter, something changed. Lawrence pulled together, brought out inner LT, attacked Denver's line. 9th minute hit Elway, forced fumble, Giants recovered, scored touchdown. 14th minute hit again, buried Elway, Giants fans rose. Lawrence, number 56, hidden compartment on chest, lived his victory. Halftime came, return to locker room, first action, bathroom. Open compartment, bag almost empty. 1 dose remained, second half hadn't started. That dose had to carry the rest. Lawrence knew if taken now, maybe last until fourth quarter middle. Then what? Didn't know. Had to take now, hands already shaking. In stall alone, Lawrence Taylor took his life's most important dose, came out, joined teammates, listened to Parcells' halftime speech, but head held one thing: finish this game. Any cost. Second half under Giants control. Lawrence recorded 2 more third quarter sacks. Defense melted Denver. Fourth quarter start score 39-20 Giants favor. Game over. Championship sealed, but Lawrence's hardest moments yet to come. Fourth quarter middle, 11 minutes left. Cocaine's effects completely wore off. Lawrence, on field, whole world watching, started going through withdrawal. Hands trembled, legs heavy, chest tight, game still going. Lawrence gritted teeth, brought out every bit of LT, completed final 11 minutes on pure will. Game ended, score 39-20 Giants champions. Lawrence, while teams celebrated on field, dropped to knees, stared at ground. They'd won, Lawrence lost. Those final 11 minutes showed he'd lost control. Cocaine wasn't something he couldn't play without, it was something he couldn't exist without. Locker room wild, celebrating, champagne popping, all cameras on LT. Lawrence went to bathroom, locked stall, looked at compartment, empty. Completely empty. That moment, biggest day being Super Bowl champion, Lawrence Taylor started crying, won everything, lost himself. After Super Bowl, nothing changed in Lawrence's life, got worse. That compartment wasn't just game days anymore. Practice days, press conferences, equipment shopping, he carried pads everywhere. Compartment like ID card, never left behind. Giants organization, nobody asked questions. LT was champion, untouchable. 1987 season started different. Championship team, high expectations. Lawrence faced multiplied pressure. Real problem, NFL that year tightened drug testing. Random tests now conducted, players called anytime. Lawrence, using cocaine daily, was on disaster's edge. First test came September, practice morning, 9 o'clock, equipment room. Team doctor approached. Lawrence, you're tested today, random selection, now. Lawrence's world collapsed. That morning he'd taken dose from compartment, cocaine in system. Test would be positive, career over. But Lawrence Taylor survived this system 3 years. Didn't panic. Thought fast. Made plan. Going to test, told doctor need bathroom first. Drank too much water at breakfast. Doctor gave permission. Test would be in bathroom anyway. Lawrence entered, didn't urinate, waited. 1, 2, 3 minutes? Came out, said feel like throwing up, can't test today, tomorrow. Doctor suspicious but agreed. Tomorrow, same time. That night, Lawrence found solution. Solution was locker room among teammates. Lawrence knew some players didn't use cocaine. Clean players. If he got their urine, he'd pass test. But how ask? How explain? How get past test monitor? Next morning before test, Lawrence approached Harry Carson. Harry, can you do me a favor? Something quiet, nobody knows. Carson asked what? Lawrence confessed, everything. Cocaine compartment tests. If this test positive, career over. Help me. Carson shocked but teammate. Said okay, what do I do? Plan, Carson would provide clean urine sample at home, small plastic bottle, bring to stadium. Lawrence entered bathroom for test, bottle with him. Test monitor waited outside stall. Lawrence in stall, hands trembling, pulled out bottle, poured into test container, held breath. Monitor took sample, looked, checked temperature, said valid. Lawrence exhaled relief. Passed first test, just beginning. Next month, Lawrence passed 2 more tests, same method each time. Third test, something went wrong. October end, test bathroom. Lawrence pulled out bottle, but monitor tried opening door. Lock held, monitor suspicious. Lawrence, what are you doing? Monitor said. Lawrence panicked, put bottle in pocket, tried urinating immediately, too late. Monitor opened stall, saw Lawrence with plastic bottle. Everything over. Test came positive. NFL suspended Lawrence 30 days. Press exploded. Media crazy. Lawrence before whole world had to confess, I use cocaine, need help. But nobody knew about Compartment. Nobody knew he'd carried drugs in pads 3 years. Nobody knew he lived with that bag every game, every practice. Lawrence didn't tell. This secret big enough to shake NFL. 1988 became Lawrence's breaking year. After 30-day suspension returned, rejoined team, something changed. Not hidden anymore, everyone knew. Media knew, fans knew, opponents knew. Most important, Bill Parcells knew. Parcells and Taylor complicated relationship years. Parcells coach, Taylor star player. Both alpha males, both loved control. After Super Bowl 21 relationship peaked, cocaine scandal changed everything. Parcells realized Taylor wasn't just addicted, he'd lied. 3 years lied straight to his face daily. Parcells didn't forgive that. Practice morning, March 1988, Lawrence entered locker room, Parcells waiting. Come to my office. 2 words. Lawrence went in, Parcells closed door, turned. Tell me truth, everything. Lawrence looked back. First time, really first time, ready to confess. Told him. Compartment, pads, cocaine every game, Carson's help, everything. Parcells listened. Quietly, angrily listened. Conversation ended. Parcells said, look, Lawrence, I love you, but I love LT, not you. If you touch drugs one more time, I'll cut you. Don't care how good you play. Don't care how much fans love you, I'll cut you. Lawrence knew that moment. Parcells serious. Parcells never bluffed. That season, Lawrence stayed clean, left Compartment empty. First time 3 years, took field without cocaine under jersey. Something strange happened. First game played terribly. No sacks, lineman got past. After game, Parcells asked what's wrong. Lawrence couldn't answer, knew what was wrong. Without cocaine, without addiction, just Lawrence couldn't be LT on field. Cocaine didn't make him high anymore. Cocaine made him normal. Without cocaine, just depressed. Season progressed, something changed. Body started cleaning, mind clearing. 4th game, Lawrence made 1 sack, then 2, then 3. Season end recorded 15.5 sacks, selected Pro Bowl. Maybe not old LT, but alive. Career not over. Most important, Compartment now empty. 1989 and 90 seasons, Lawrence stayed clean. Giants made playoffs twice, won Super Bowl 25 in 90, 2nd championship. This time, Lawrence didn't cry in locker room. This time really won, without cocaine, without Compartment, just as LT. But story doesn't end here. Addiction never truly ends, just sleeps. For Lawrence Taylor, this was only round 1. 1993, Lawrence Taylor retired. 34 years old, 13-year career, 2 Super Bowls, 3 Defensive Player of Year awards, 10 Pro Bowls. Statistics extraordinary. But numbers didn't tell this truth. Lawrence was cocaine addict 8 of those 13 years. Retirement didn't end that addiction. When you step off field, when spotlights go out, when stadium empties, what's left? Just you. Lawrence, when just Lawrence couldn't deal with himself. Being LT was escape. When LT gone, nowhere left to run. Throughout 90s, Lawrence entered rehab several times, got clean several times, relapsed several times. 1998, spent 6 months Florida clinic. Came out, said I'm clean, over, never use again. 2 weeks later, used again. Problem wasn't cocaine, problem was Lawrence. Problem was emptiness inside, emptiness carried since 13. No rehab filled that emptiness. 2000s, Lawrence mentioned Compartment first time in press interview. Said 3 years, every game, carried cocaine under jersey. Nobody knew. How'd you pull it off? Lawrence answered, everyone wanted to see LT. Nobody wanted to see Lawrence. I did everything to not be Lawrence. That confession shook NFL. If greatest defensive player took field with drugs 3 years, who else? How many players carried compartments? How could system fail this badly? NFL stayed silent. No official statement, past was past. Lawrence Taylor already retired. But for Lawrence, past never ended. 2010 something happened, permanently stained career legacy. Arrested for sexual relations with 16-year-old girl in hotel. Found guilty court. 6 years probation. Sex offender registry. Not just addict now. Registered sex offender. Press interview, he said all happened because cocaine. If hadn't made Compartment 85, hadn't taken first dose, wouldn't be here today. But did. Now all that's left is regret. Today, Lawrence Taylor, 65 years old, still lives Florida, occasionally press interviews, attends NFL alumni events. Everywhere he goes, known for 2 things. First, greatest defensive player NFL history. Second, cocaine addict. 2016 sat before documentary camera. They asked, "What's difference between LT and Lawrence?" Lawrence answered, "LT died on field, but Lawrence still alive." Every day I remember that death. Being LT was easy, being Lawrence is hard. That hidden compartment, that small pocket inside shoulder pads, wasn't just place to hide plastic bag, was metaphor for Lawrence's entire life. We all hide something. All have hidden compartments under jerseys, but difference. Some people eventually take out what's in compartment. Lawrence couldn't. It destroyed him. When NFL talks Lawrence Taylor today, only mentions statistics. 132.5 career sacks, 10 Pro Bowls, 2 championships. But something they don't mention. Player who took field with cocaine every game 3 years. Man who passed tests with teammates' urine. Addict who carried hidden compartment in shoulder pads. Don't say this because damages NFL's image. But truth is, Lawrence Taylor's story doesn't belong to him alone. 80s, hundreds of NFL players used cocaine, maybe thousands. How many played with hidden compartments? How many manipulated tests? How many lied? We don't know. But Lawrence's story shows system was broken then, maybe still broken today. Number 56 hangs Giants Ring of Honor today, stadium above luxury box, gold letters, Taylor. But nobody wants remember what was inside that jersey. That's NFL's dirty secret. Lawrence Taylor won championships with cocaine 3 years. Nobody stopped him. Few years ago, interview Lawrence said, "If I went back to 18 again, would I do same thing?" He thought long and hard, then answered, "Don't know." That hidden compartment both gave me everything and took everything from me. Won me Super Bowls, cost me my life. Taught me to be LT, made me forget Lawrence. What's left? Just empty compartment, unfilled soul. Today's shoulder pads on display, Giants Museum. Tourists come, take photos, can't touch but can look. Inside, between foam, that small cut still there. Trace of that hidden compartment. Nobody notices because nobody looks. But Lawrence knows. Every day knows. Carries that mark not just in pads, but in soul. This is Lawrence Taylor's real story. Secret underneath number 56. Truth NFL will never forgive, can never forget. That hidden compartment wasn't just one player's tragedy. Was entire industry's failure. They still ask him, "Are you still addict?" Lawrence answers, every day I'm addict. But not to cocaine anymore, to regret. That's the strongest addiction.